very much, Mr. Shatner, and I'd really like you to thank you for lending your support to the Wild Salmon campaign and for phoning in today. Really appreciate that. Now I'd like to ask Alexandra Morton to share a few words with us.
Mr. Shatner's words were remarkably on target, and these fish are an essential life support system. In 1988, fish farms were handed to the provincial government. And this was not legal, but it resulted in the management of fish farms by an agency that's not responsible for wild salmon. And at the same time, the Department of Fisheries and Oceans was given a dual mandate to promote and regulate salmon farms. This is how we got into the problem. So last year I was able to straighten this out in the BC Supreme Court. Jurisdiction of salmon farms is now going to return to the federal government in December. But we know a lot more about salmon farms than we did in 1988 because of the research and the observations up and down this coast. We know that net pen salmon farms break many natural laws that cause pathogens to explode among our wild salmon populations. The Fraser sockeye, for example, their decline is closely correlated with disease outbreaks in salmon farms. So BC needs wild salmon. The tourism industry is about 40,000 jobs. These jobs are based on wild salmon, whales, bears, eagles. We also just love salmon, and I mean that should be enough of a reason to protect them, but they are an economic driver. So the federal government has an opportunity now because they are going to be in control of this problem child, and they could protect BC jobs, both the aquaculture and the wild salmon, by encouraging and forcing this industry to go into closed tanks. If the Norwegian industry is not interested in doing this, so be it. The Canadian industry may take up the slack and in the process develop new technology that could be exported worldwide, protect the aquaculture jobs, allow an abundant wild salmon fishery and all the life systems they support, including us. They feed the trees that make oxygen. And so I'm thrilled that somebody of Mr. Donelley's stature in government is working so hard to move this industry onto land, into land-based technology. So thanks very much to everybody on this call.
Thank you, Ms. Morton, and congratulations, by the way. I know you will be receiving an honorary doctorate that you'll be awarded by Simon Fraser University coming up, so congratulations for all the work that you're doing. Now I'd like to ask Chief Chamberlain to share a few words with us.
I want to thank everyone for making time to be here today to hear this important issue. I want to congratulate MP Finn Donelley for the work that he's doing to safeguard wild salmon. As First Nations people in British Columbia, salmon represents a very clear staple food for our people. It helps sustain a very diverse culture which we have managed for thousands of years. I want to call on Minister Shea to embrace this private member's bill. I want to call on Minister Shea to embrace the notion of closed containment and make it a reality. If Minister Shea is unable to make such tough political decisions and begin to err on the side of caution for wild salmon, then she must resign. She must move aside for someone that is willing to have a long-term vision in terms of safeguarding wild salmon. In Norway, they have things such as the National Salmon Fjords. And what they do there is they keep fish farms away from the migratory routes of the last wild runs that they have. What more evidence do we need to know? What more evidence do we need to have that same practice here and discontinue holding hands with the Norwegian companies that are here to exploit our waters and our environmental standards? I'm disappointed in Minister Shea. Our tribal council has corresponded with her requesting a letter to talk about solutions in the interim before closed containment comes along. We haven't even had the courtesy of a response. And to me, that's shameful. I think that it's time that British Columbians and Canadians alike get informed about sea lice, about disease transfer, about every impact that this industry has. And it's time to refocus on this world treasure that we have in British Columbia called wild salmon. It is time that we embrace the full economic value of abundant salmon stocks. So I look forward to watching this private member's bill proceed through the House of Commons, and I urge all MPs to become informed on this important issue and get behind MP Finn Donelley's private member's bill. Gail Kessler.
Thank you, Chief Chamberlain. Your words are very passionate and moving, and definitely remind us why we need to protect our wild salmon. I'd also like to mention that for those that would like more information, whether it's background information, bios, or technical information, you can find this information at my website at www.finndonnelly.ca.